Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio. You're here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. As the year winds up and kids are getting excited, we're heading towards the thinnest time of the year as far as veils are concerned, when we're supposed to be able to make connections with our loved ones on Halloween. Here in Australia, it's not a really big deal yet. It's getting bigger by the year. I've got all my treats ready for the little people to knock on the door on Halloween night. And it's just an amazing time of the year. For us, it was the birth of Simply Tarot, the card that I'm going to feature a little bit later on in a little minute on the show. So, that goes all the way back to 2005. So that's 19 years this week on Halloween Simply Tarot was born. And I'm very proud to say that it's still in production and we still love working with it. So here's the Simply Tarot card of the week now that I've spoken about it. It is the card of the Temperance. Now, Temperance is a major arcana card. It's one of these ambiguous sort of cards that a lot of people don't sort of understand. They look at the card and they say, oh, I don't know that I particularly like that card. Here we've got a woman, tipping some sort of liquid water backwards and forwards in a cup, and she's got a toe stuck in the water, and it's sort of, what does this all mean? Well, it is the card of money restrictions, and money restrictions can form in many different ways. It can be needing to stretch our budget, which I don't know too many people around the world are not familiar with that at the moment. Everybody seems to be trying to stretch their budget that little bit further. But it's also the card of testing the waters. Now, by sticking your toe in the big pond there, you're testing the water. So you could be testing something in life. And that's what I mean by that. Money restrictions don't always mean we don't have any money. It means that there's a restriction on how much is coming in or how we need to spend it. We need to stop, look and listen and sort of start to look at where our money's going. And that's where we can sort of feel a little bit restricted by money. We haven't got enough coming in to cover everything that we want to cover at this immediate time. And testing the water can be sort of looking at some new ideas or some new opportunities that are coming our way. So be aware of that. It's a very, very exciting time of the year. And I'm really excited to sort of say that things are starting to move, and, lots of things are happening around the world that not necessarily everybody is approving of, but there is constant change happening. And it's been a time of this year, I think, of a lot of change, a lot of wars, a lot of things that have come to the forefront, and lots of countries around the world are having, local elections, big elections, country elections, things like that. So everything sort of seems to be a little bit topsy-turvy at the moment. All I can suggest to you is just breathe. Do what you have to do. If you're in an area where you've got to vote or you can vote, make sure that your voice counts. Don't be one of those people that sits on the sideline and whinges about, I didn't like the result, but yet I didn't vote. It's really, really important. You have a voice. You have a right to cast a vote for a reason, so that you have some input into what's going to be happening in your local area or in your country. I can't stress that enough. So we're going to start with the astrology section now. Now, happy birthday to all the Scorpios. And I know there's loads and loads of Scorpios around the world. Look, they get a lot of bad press. A lot of people say, oh, no, wouldn't marry a Scorpio, wouldn't go out with a Scorpio. Well, that's pretty unfair. I mean, there's lots of wonderful Scorpio people in the world. It's just because they are a very fixed, rigid sort of sign. They can sometimes come across as cold and abrasive, and they're not meaning to be. It's usually that they're very deep in thought. They're trying to sort out their emotions. They're trying to sort out their emotions that can sometimes run very deep and very private. They're not the sort of people that run around with their heart on their sleeve, not generally anyway. They like to sort of go away, think about things. Think of a scorpion. It sort of likes to live underground. It likes to live off the radar. Well, scorpion people are very much the same way. They don't necessarily want everybody knowing their business. They're very private people. And if you can look at the water sign being, Cancer is fluid water, Scorpio is like a block of ice, and Pisces is the gas that comes out, or the steam that comes out of your kettle. So there's different forms of water. So with Scorpio, it's a fixed sign, it's a very deep sign, it's a very powerful sign. And if they can master their own emotions and try to understand them and not sort of inflict them sometimes on other people, their bad mood or their deep mood, they can find that they can get a lot of answers. They're actually very, very wise people. There's wise people in every sign, but there's different degrees of how we apply the knowledge or the wisdom or the things that we've been born with. We can all maximize our skill set. We come into this world all equal. We all come in with no clothes and things like that, but we're born with a certain set of talents. That's where astrology comes in, that we look at the different facets that are in a chart. And I refer it to, and I'm being old-fashioned here, like a Polaroid photograph, where years ago we used to have to wait. We'd send our roll of film off and had to wait to get it developed. And when the Polaroid camera came out, we could take a picture and instantly see it. Well, that's how I've always referred to an astrology chart. It's a snapshot of where the planets and different configurations are at your birth, and it's a snapshot of your birth. Now, just because you're a Scorpio doesn't make you any less of a person than any other star sign. It just means that you have an intensity, you have a responsibility to understand your own emotions. And, the sun sign is only 1/10 of our chart. It doesn't make up the whole of us. And that's why not every Scorpio or every Aries or every Leo is the same. We have another 9 influencing planets in our chart, plus many other factors that make us unique. So we have the sun conjunct Scorpio at the moment, is actually conjunct the part of fortune. Now, the part of fortune is not a planet. It is actually called an Arabian part. Now, what this means is Scorpios have got a really unique opportunity at the moment that they can bring things into their life that would be seen as sort of boosting their lives or being like something that they've been working towards, like a part of fortune. It's like something that they've been working towards or really want to bring into their lives. Now, the gods are with them, let's say, that, there's more opportunity now to achieve those things that they've been diligently working on for some time, or something that's become brand new that they want to work on and they want to bring into their lives. Now's the time to sort of really start working on that. The energy is with you, your thinking is very clear, your emotions are in check. It's like show people the determination that you've got, because it is a very determined sign and can be a very reliable sign too. I have lots of Scorpio friends, and sometimes they're a little bit deep and a little bit difficult to understand. But when you understand that, okay, if they're quiet, they're thinking, they're trying to sort out some sort of emotional issue, they're trying to sort something out in their life, then you give them that little bit of space. We all need space from time to time. Now, we're going to move on to the other areas of astrology. I handpick what I think is most important that's going to sort of work across all the 12 signs, and I then clearly define how it's going to affect the most prominent signs or the energies that it's in, and then, what will wash over the rest of us. So for the moment, we're going to be looking at Mars, the planet of action. Now, Mars is the planet that gets you out of bed of a morning. Mars is sitting in Cancer. Now, Mars doesn't particularly like sitting in Cancer, because Mars is a go, get them, get out of bed, get out of my road sort of energy, full of energy, full of bravado, sort of almost in a sense quite fiery and determined. And it's the planet in astrology that we look to, that we say, oh, if there's a planet that applies to war, this is it. And, with it sitting in Cancer, and Cancer wants to be nurturing, caring, homely, wants sort of things to be sort of really nice and comfortable, wants everybody to be happy, wants everybody to feel secure. So it's almost like a conflicting energy there. I'm not saying that it can't work. What I'm saying is that there's part of this energy that wants to get up and sort of fight for what's yours while it's sitting in Cancer, and particularly on a home front, it's sort of becoming almost territorial and sort of saying, this is mine, this is what I need to protect, and here you are trying to infiltrate my home. You're trying to sort of disrupt my life. So, of course, we're talking about the water signs. We're talking about Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. We're also talking about the opposite sign of Capricorn, but we're talking about it washing over all the remaining 8 signs. So it's like you've got to be very, very careful of this with Mars in Cancer. Now I'm going to go on to expand this and say Mars in Cancer is now making a really nice aspect, which is what we look for in a chart, which is called a sextile. So that means it's 60 degrees or 65 degrees away from where Mars is. So we have the South Node, which is also not a planet, but it's one of the moon's nodes. Now, the South Node is where we're aspiring to come from, not what we're hoping to achieve. This is where we're coming from. Now, the moon's South Node is conjunct the moon at the moment. So this is very, very powerful emotions, very, very powerful energies that are happening at the moment. Now, both of those are sitting in Libra. So it's predominantly affecting the water signs, and now we're predominantly affecting the air signs, which is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. The opposite sign is Aries. So it's asking us now to sort of be considerate, of the emotions that might be flowing around, that there is also, where people are coming from on an emotional level could seem sort of very combative. They could seem very argumentative. They could seem like they want to go to war, that they're trying to pick fights with people, trying to sort of, bring something to a head. And they're doing it sometimes on an unconscious or a subconscious level, are the triggers for this sort of behavior. It's not always about it's a deliberate thing. It's about that people are sort of doing this on a subconscious or an unconscious level because they're being driven from their own internal energies. Now, we need to be very aware of this. They can spark arguments very, very quickly. It can spark situations that wouldn't mend quickly in a hurry. It's sort of like bringing something to a final close. If you've been sort of uncomfortable or unhappy in a job or where you're living or in a relationship or whatever, unconsciously you're sending out signals that you want to bring this to a head. If I was to ask you directly, you'd say, oh, no, that's not me. I'm not trying to do that. But you're doing it on a subconscious or a subliminal level, that you're deliberately sending out energy there to try and pick a fight, pick an argument with somebody, pick an opportunity there that this will bring this to a head and bring it to a close. Can I suggest to you, no matter what your star sign is, be very, very aware of your emotions, be very, very aware of your words in the next 3 or 4 days. They are like weapons. Choose your words very carefully and make sure that if you feel somebody's feeling uncomfortable or deliberately trying to pick an argument with you over something that you're not prepared to try and negotiate on, or don't believe that there can be a negotiation, then keep your mouth shut. It's one of those times where your words are like weapons. So be very, very careful of that. So moving on to Chiron. Chiron is, again, another Arabian part. Chiron's where we look in a chart for where we're wounded, we need to heal. It can be sometimes connected to past lives, if you believe in those, which I firmly do. It can also be where we need to heal ourselves in our current lifetime. Now, because Chiron is sitting in Aries, yes, of course, it's going to be affecting the fire signs, and particularly Aries until December 29. It is affecting the fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The opposite sign is Libra. So again, we're bringing in that Librian energy. It's an opportunity there to heal, but it is washing over the remaining 8 signs as well. So anytime that we've got something sitting in Aries, it's about asking us to put ourselves first. But because it's going retrograde or backwards at the moment, it's sort of seeming like everything is sort of stuck. It sort of feels as if, you take 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, 3 steps forwards, 2 steps backwards. That's not exactly true. In many cases, people are their own worst enemy. Again, it's sort of like they're using this as an excuse, whether it's subliminal or whether they're consciously aware of it, but they're using excuses to prevent them from making decisions or choices, or really going back and reevaluating and looking at their decisions that they've made, that maybe there's been some changes. Maybe there's things that they need to readjust to, things that they need to change, or look at it through a different lens. But they're being stubborn and pig-headed and sort of saying, well, I made my decision and that's it. They're not prepared to look at or listen to anybody else's opinion. So please be very, very careful, no matter which star sign you are. If you're making changes in your life and your instincts are telling you that maybe, just maybe, we need to make a modification, don't ignore it. Go and explore it. You can always say, okay, well, my original decision, I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to go back to that. And for some people, it may be time for a change. We also have Pluto, the planet of transformation, is sitting in the final stages of being in Capricorn. Now, I can't stress enough, Pluto has been in and out of Capricorn now for over 20 years. Now, he's coming to the final part, so this will seem the final push. He moves out of Capricorn on the 19th of November. He will not return to Capricorn again in our lifetime. It will be at least 220 years before he comes back to transit this sign. So it is very, very important. On a world stage, it affects things like governments, big business, anything that's an official sort of situation. Yes, it's in Capricorn, so it's affecting the earth signs, which is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, the opposite sign of Cancer. But it is washing over the remaining 8 signs. Now, I can't stress, we've all had plenty of time to reorganise our finances, to look at anything on an official level, to make sure that we've dotted our I's and crossed our T's in every area that is an official situation. If we haven't, and I'm speaking from experience, if we have not done that and we think that we're home and hosed, Pluto will come along and hit you over the head with the baseball bat, because Pluto says that the lessons that I'm going to teach you need to be definite. They need to be lessons that you will never forget. You can sit there and ignore me, you can sit there and deny me, but I will win. And I can't stress that strongly enough. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. I'm just trying to get you to sort of be aware we have less than sort of 3 weeks to really get ourselves organised. If there's anything that you haven't sorted out on an official level, no matter what your star sign is, get to it now, get it sorted, because it may not be as easy when Pluto moves into Aquarius. Finally, I want to talk about Uranus in Taurus. And I've been talking about a lot of retrograde planets today. Retrograde means that they're seemingly going backwards. It doesn't lessen the intensity of their lessons or the journey that we're going to share with them. What it does is it just sort of makes us more aware, in my opinion. It sort of amplifies the energy, if anything. So Uranus is in Taurus, and it will be there till January 2025. So this is affecting, again, the earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, the opposite sign of Scorpio. So we need to be very, very aware of everything that's going on, and it will wash over the remaining 8 signs. Now, Uranus is like the Tower card in the tarot. It's the bolt of lightning. It's out of nowhere. It's a sudden situation. I used to teach my students that, wherever you find Uranus in the chart, you look for the unusual, the unexpected, the bolt of lightning, the things that are going to come out of nowhere. And particularly when it's transiting or moving, and it's retrograde too until January, it means the intensity of the energy is seemingly more intense. It might be sort of a little bit, I was going to say watered down, but it's not necessarily watered down. It's sort of maybe not as bright. It's like, okay, when Uranus hits, it hits and it really hits, but you didn't see it coming. Where sometimes we can see Uranus coming, we can feel it, we can feel the energy. This is going to be a little bit more subtle than that. It's going to hit and it's going to be definite, and it's going to be, well, you wouldn't take any notice, you wouldn't make changes in your life. I've had to come along and do that for you because you were ignoring my warnings. Now, that can be on any level for, whether it be finances, health, whether it's home, whether it's your relationship, your job, or whatever. Be very, very careful, no matter what your star sign is at the moment. What you wish for, what you verbalize out of your mouth may very well happen. Don't sit there and say, I hate my job, because the next thing you'll know, you won't have the job. The universe is listening, and the universe says, oh, well, they don't want that job, we'll take it away from them. You have a right to get cross with things and sort of, vent a little bit, but be very careful of your choice of words. It's really, really important that we make sure that anything that we're verbalizing to the universe is very clear, very concise. You can say, I'm having a bad day at work today, really don't want to be there, but tomorrow will be different. And, then if tomorrow's no different, then take some action. Start looking for another job. Start making changes in your life. So I hope that's been of help to a lot of you around the world. I get lots of messages each week after I do this segment that people say, wow, that really resonated with me. It explained why I was feeling this way or why I was feeling uncomfortable. Thank you very much. Look, it's something that I enjoy doing. I've worked with astrology for over 40 years, and it's something that still, even today, it still surprises me how it works. You can see it actively working on a daily basis. So we're going to take our first caller now. We're going to talk to Linda in Jackson in Michigan. Are you there, Linda?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Linda. How can I help you today? Do you have a question I can answer for you?
Well, I was just wondering about my finances.
Well, that's a very good question, Linda. I think a lot of people are wondering about their finances at the moment with the world in the way that it is. When I take it back to you personally, the first thing that they're showing me is that there's a lot of endings, change, or transformation. So have you been actively working on trying to bring your finances under control, have you?
Yes.
Good. Well, I want you to continue on that. It might seem a little bit harsh that, you've had to make some fairly hard decisions, but let me assure you they will start to pay off, and you will start to feel as if you're back in the driver's seat again with your finances and getting them into control. Look, I'd love to say that was going to be next week, but I think we're sort of looking more when you're sort of can exhale and sort of breathe a sigh of relief. It's sort of about February, March next year. And that sounds a long way off when we're only at the end of October. But considering where you've come from and where you're aiming to be, you've done remarkably well. It's been tough and it will continue to be tough, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that things will improve, and then you'll be in a position of choice where you can look at then where you want to place your finances, to sort of really shore everything up for the next few years. So the current situation with work, is there potentially there's an opportunity for a pay rise or something? Because I'm seeing a bit of extra money there, Linda.
No, not really. I'm retired and on a fixed income, so
Right. But is there something that you may have been looking at doing that's sort of like a hobby that, could turn into generate a little bit of income?
yes, actually, I have.
Yeah, because to me, look, it wasn't hundreds and hundreds of dollars every week, but there was a trickle of money coming in that sort of, oh, wow, that's good. I can put that off this, or I can go and buy myself those new pair of shoes I've been looking for, or whatever. So it was sort of really easing everything. But Linda, you're on the right track. You've made the right decisions. Now you just got to stick to your game plan and know that things are going to get better. But this hobby business, and I'm going to call it a business because I think it will go into a little business, is really going to be really exciting and rewarding, and not just from the financial point of view. It's giving you something to get out of bed for every day, like you've got something that's motivating you, and
Right.
that's wonderful. Anyway, Linda, that's where we're going to leave it. I hope you have a lovely rest of the year. We're going to talk with Katie now in Houston in Texas. Are you there, Katie?
Hi.
Hi, Katie. How can I help you? Do you have a question I can answer?
I'm open to what the spirit want me to know.
Okay. Usually I prefer to work with a direct question because, you phoned into the show, you've obviously got something on your mind, but I'm happy to sort of just poke around and see what they want to share with us, if that's the direction you want me to go.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. The first thing that they're showing me is that you've got to get over your fear. There's some sort of fear that seems to be holding you back. Is that sort of fear of sort of stepping forward and sort of speaking up for yourself? Because that's how I felt they packaged it to me. Is there something you need to say to somebody? Is an issue that you need to deal with?
Uh, with myself more than anybody.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. Sometimes we can be uncomfortable with having a good, long, hard look at ourselves and deciding what changes we need to make. But what they were showing me was the fear was holding you back. It was like, let's put the fear to one side. It's like, pick it up, put it on the shelf and say, you stay there and I'll come back to the kitchen table and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work out what my next steps are. And I'm going to try and do that without fear. It's interesting because I don't believe that you lack self-esteem. I think it's just you are frightened to take or fearful of taking that next step. What if? What if it doesn't work? What if this doesn't happen? What if? I think it's more what
Yeah.
ifs than it is actual not the ability to sort of do something or achieve something, because underneath all this, you're a very strong, determined young woman who knows what you want. It's just taking that first step, isn't it? It's taking that leap of faith of saying, okay, I can do this. Now, that sometimes takes practice. We're not all born with this unlimited confidence or ability to achieve things. But I think if you get comfortable with even sort of looking yourself in the mirror, and I don't mean looking for your wrinkles and your pimples and all that sort of stuff, but looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm a worthwhile person. I'm worthy of everything that I require to bring into my life. This may just help you overcome this fear within yourself and be able to leap forward, because what they're showing me is there's going to be some really important opportunities in 2025, and I don't want to see you sort of hold yourself back because, oh my God, do I deserve this? Is it really for me? Can I do it? Oh no, I better stay where I am. So I'm taking from those sort of comments that they're sharing with me, there's going to be an opportunity to leap forward into a new job. Were you thinking of changing your job?
No, I just started a new job. A new
What is that? What is
relationship is on the line.
Right. No, but okay, I want to go back to the job because they were talking to me about whether or not you felt you were comfortable with it. So if you've only just started, would it be fair to say that you haven't quite cemented it yet to how you feel really comfortable with it?
Correct, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that will take a little bit more time. I'm just going to say each day you feel a little bit more secure, a little bit more confident. But I was also picking up around March, around the job, there's something that they're going to discuss with you. And to me, it felt like a new position. So it could be that, they feel you've done such an excellent job. Here's an opportunity for a promotion. You can say yes or no, but there seems to be some further study around this as well. So it's not something I want you to panic about. I want you to sort of look at it and say, well, okay, yes, that's for me, or no, it's not. I think they're really happy with your performance in your new job. So, try and leave your fear at home when you go to work, please, sweetie, because you're doing a really good job. Now, the relationship, I agree with you that sort of is on precarious ground, isn't it? I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying it's going to end. I'm just saying I think there's some adjustments that need to happen there. Is that how you would see it? That we're still in this adjusting phase, getting to know each other, getting to know what we're comfortable with and what we're not?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, look, I still think that the jury's out at whether or not this is the right situation. For now, I think we need to just keep moving forward. I don't think it's the time to make a decision. Definitely it's over, or definitely we're keeping it. Let's just sort of let it progress, let it grow organically the way that it needs to. And I think you're both learning things about each other. And that's good. That's what relationships are about, is about learning about each other and the give and take and what suits us and what doesn't. But I still get a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling there with that. So I think you need to hang in there, Katie. Well, we've come to the end of the show again. It always goes very quickly, the half hour on the show each week. And I want to say to everybody, look, it is a time of change. It is a time where everything is feeling a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit raw. We're sort of all picking up on this energy. As I explained in the astrology section, there's so much going on and so many retrograde planets at the moment. No wonder everybody's sort of a little bit on the edge of their seat, but things will improve. Now, don't forget, Halloween's coming up. It's the time of the year when the veils are at the thinnest. No matter what you believe, you may start to pick up on some spirit energy, or have them come in and they're moving your photographs around, or turning the radio on or the television, or, you're seeing something out of the corner of your eye. Just be comfortable with it. It's nothing to be uncomfortable with. It is just your passed over relatives and friends and things like that sort of coming through, saying hello, acknowledging the fact that they're there, I think is the important thing, that they just want you to know that you can see them. So this week I'm going to leave you with one of my favourite songs from one of my favourite singers. I mean, I really thought hard about what to leave you with as far as a Halloween song. And here in Australia, we have a lot of very funny songs. One's called The Monster Mash and things like that people sort of drag out at Halloween time. But I'm going to leave you with an old classic by somebody that's no longer with us, and it's been, covered by many, many people, but this is my favourite version. I'm going to leave you with Spooky by David Cassidy. And if you're a regular watcher of the show, you'll know I'm a huge fan of David Cassidy. I think he was very underrated. He had an amazing voice, and I'm really still sad that he's gone. And, the music lives on and his legacy lives on, but it's a beautiful song, and it really does depict what Halloween is about. Spooky, have a little bit of fun. Let's, all have some fun this week with Halloween. And don't forget to have those trick or treats for the children as they come a-calling with all their beautiful costumes. So until next week, happy Halloween. Bye for now.